Hello and welcome to the Waves of Joy podcast. I'm your host, Brenda Winkle. I'm a mindset and empowerment coach and an advanced theta healing practitioner. This podcast is about finding joy. It will also be about inspiring women who have found and built joy-filled lives. You'll hear more about how to find joy hourly, daily, monthly, and yearly, and learn about how to spread joy. You'll also hear powerful stories that don't sound joyful at the beginning, but where joy was found. I started this podcast because I wanted to normalize finding joy while experiencing the ups and downs of daily life. I hope you feel inspired and entertained. Now, pop in your earbuds or take me with you on your commute, or maybe both. Let's do this. Find waves of joy. Every time I plan a trip, the planning and anticipation is just as much fun as the actual trip. I'm planning something really fun, really special for you. I'm going to begin hosting retreats. And I'm going to begin really soon. I'm in the information gathering phase right now and have a Google form for you with information as well as some questions so you can help me decide where we should have our first retreat. Simply email me, brenda@brendawinkle.com, and I'll send you over the form. Would you like to feel better and release limiting beliefs? Of course you would. I created a free meditation for you that's downloadable. As soon as you click submit, I'll email you with a downloadable version of this free meditation. Go to brendawinkle.com/feel better. That's brendawinkle.com/FEELBETTER. Your mind and your body will thank you. Welcome back to the Waves of Joy podcast. In this special episode, my guest is Jenny Lee. Jenny Lee is a teacher of 20 years, and she's inspired to help women be aware of their own self-care after a realization of how her own lack of self-care had put her on the wrong path. Now, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I bet that you can. Jenny found herself in a job that she thought she would love, but she was hating it. And she didn't feel like she had the capacity to really be there for her students and didn't understand why. Until while on vacation in Hawaii, she realized that she had begun to look forward to each day. She couldn't wait to get up in the morning, and it changed everything. So after a few taxing life events, years of self-separation, a postpartum depression, and a divorce, life directed her on the path of self-care and self-discovery. She uncovered her connection to happiness and inspiration through her morning routines and self-care embodiment. Jenny's now on the journey of guiding other women to heal and reconnect with their dignified and highest selves through morning rituals and self-care. Before we were recording, Jenny was telling me about how she felt like she wasn't living her most authentic life. She was in a marriage that wasn't making her happy. She was in a job that she felt like took more from her than it gave. And she was really in a dark place, really struggling. And while on vacation in Hawaii, everything changed when she realized that if she poured into herself first and began every day with a full cup, everything changed, including how she felt about the job. She talked about how she has more capacity to give, more capacity to show up for her students, and much more love for everyone in her life because she's taking care of herself in a whole new way. I know you're going to love this episode.
Then this holiday to Hawaii, at some point I kind of caught myself like waking up early in the morning. Like I was awoken. I stayed in this hostel, and somebody was like, "Did you see the sunrise? Did you see the sunrise?" And everybody was just like, got excited. I was like, "What was that all about?" And so I got up. It's like, "Oh my God, such a beautiful sunrise!" And it was like I don't know, probably 6:05 or something. And then, okay, I'm already awake. Let me just do stuff. And then I realized the earlier I wake up, the more things I can do, the more things I can see, the more fun I can have, the longer
Yes.
I could stay at the beach. I was like, this is so awesome. Right. And so I was waking up early every day. And I, because I was staying at the hostel, I get like the first dib on the bathroom. It's like, yeah, it was great. And then it's like, yeah, then the sooner I could start my day, right? And so when I got back from there, it's like, back to reality and like back to not liking the morning. But then wait, I could actually wake up to something fun. And so before I would just wake up early enough for me to brush my teeth, take my coffee, and then like commute to work, right? So mornings were always like rushing and stressful. And because of that stressful energy stuck with me and I brought to work.
Right.
It was, it's just not a good way of starting the day. And so I thought, okay, I do want to move like first thing in the morning. So what do I do? And so I learned belly dancing and I practiced that for a while. And I thought, okay, I want to have some fun. I want to do some belly dancing with some Middle Eastern drumming and upbeat music, and then just move my hips. It's like, this is so much fun. And so I would wake up 10-15 minutes earlier just so I could do that. All that movement is just like so refreshing and exhilarating. And then I would change up the music to something that's like upbeat. Like, I don't know if you've heard the song, This is the Best, This is One of the Best Day of My Life or something by American authors.
Yes, I love that
God.
song.
It's beautiful. And so, imagine dancing to that song, right? Like, the upbeat, the energy and exhilaration. It's like, this is like the mood that I want to be in all day. And you get that. Then I got that, like, that standard of mood that I want to be in. Like, I listen to Abraham Hicks and, it's called the high flying disc.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I want to be on. And then, because then I started to it started to register to me that I'm waking up for myself. I'm waking up for something fun. And then I would wake up earlier, like half an hour, earlier. And then I started to incorporate like some challenges, like in belly dancing, there's like some this challenging moves of the belly roll or the belly flutter. I don't know if you've seen that. I nailed it in 3 months by practicing it 10 to 15 minutes every day.
Wow, that's impressive.
I nailed both. Yeah, right. So then it gave me this this idea now that I can learn a skill. Just a few minutes every day, and like I can get it in 3 months. It's that growth again, the growth, the fun, the joy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it grew from there, like, from half an hour. And then I started to pick up juicing. It's like, okay, now I want to wake up earlier so I could do juicing. And so now I covered the fun, the emotional needs, and then the nourishing part. Right. So it becomes such a beautiful morning because I take care of myself, like, on an emotional level, on a physical level. And then I started listening to audiobooks. Excuse the motorbikes. But yeah. And so while I'm making my juice, then I would start listening to something inspirational, not the news.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever turn on the news in the morning.
No, I don't ever turn it on.
No, yeah, just like, all these different writers like Deepak Chopra, Michael Singer, right? And then I listened to James Clear about, habits and and so I get to be nourished on these different aspects. And that's and then I close it with like, some fun dance, like, just jumping around and like getting back on that high flying disc, right? And imagine like, having all that fun, happy energy, and you wearing this lens of joy, and that's how you go through the day,
Mhm.
right? And so my job is still same demographics of kids. But you know what? Like it's so much more fun now because I focus so much more like I focus on fun all the time in the morning. And now at my work, when I'm lesson planning, how can I make this fun? Right. And my interaction with the kids changed, right? And like so much better. And it's so much more fun. And so the job is the same. But you know what? I changed. Like now I don't hate my job anymore.
I
I
love
actually know how to
this.
have fun. And it's like, when you're in that state of exhilaration and fun and joyful, you're open to different inspiration, right?
Mhm.
It's like, no, it's like when you're open to that, like all these then you're focusing on fun, like fun people, like my colleagues, like the people that I hang out with at work are just the nicest people, right? And then when I say I would play music, and then like remember what we said about like fun and joy is really about allowing,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
It's kind of interesting. I have my classroom faces like the suburb, and there's like mountain view, like a view of the mountains and lawns, and it's just beautiful. And so I always keep my windows open to let the light in and the view too, right? And it's so like, yeah, it's like I created this environment within me and outside of me because that's what I focus on:
Mhm.
fun, the joy, right? And so, yeah, like, you know what? When it also gives me this understanding that when it comes to fun and joy and happiness, it's really our responsibility. I mean, I have proven myself that I have created it,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yes.
and it all like, with me taking initiative to focus on happiness and fun and asking myself, what can I do to have fun? And then like universe answers, and like and
Mhm.
you're given all of these choices, and that's it. Then one fun is like a breadcrumb of fun, right? And you just kind of like keep on following it, and it translates in your relationship with yourself, with the environment, like with how you do things, and the interaction with the people around you. And
Absolutely. Because
yeah.
they feel it. And I
Mhm.
I want to circle back to a couple of things that you said. You were talking about giving ourselves love. And
Mhm.
I just want to highlight that because if we're not willing to give ourselves the love that we're giving to everyone else, we end up bankrupt
Yes.
and we have nothing left to give. And then I wanted to highlight the idea that joy is a choice. So
Mhm.
we all have circumstances, we all have things that might be irritants in our daily life, but how you look at it is your choice. And it's so
Absolutely.
powerful that you set up every morning, starting your day by doing the things that you need most. So your
Mhm.
cup is full before you even walk out the door.
Yes, exactly. And that's giving yourself love, right?
Absolutely.
By um focusing on what makes you happy, you are giving yourself love. Because that's what I think what happiness is. That's what happiness and joy are,
Mhm.
you know, love.
Absolutely. And, if we're not willing to allow ourselves to experience joy and love and happiness, there's a cap at how much joy and love and happiness we can offer to other people. But when we really dig in and lean in and allow ourselves to feel good, it's limitless.
Exactly. Yeah, feels so good.
It does. And you never want to go back. You never, once you
No.
figure it out, you never want to go back. And I understand that some, maybe, if you're listening, you're thinking, okay, they know something I don't. No, we just, the thing that I really want our listeners to take away from today is that finding ways to make you feel good that's the secret. And it's not even a secret. So I also have a morning routine that I've done it for so long, I can't even give you a number of years, because it's been at least 15 years, because I've been a single mom for 15 years. Although I don't know if you can say that when my daughter's 20. I don't know if I still count as a single mom or not. I don't know. But I always start with the meditation, and then I have a yoga practice, and then I make the coffee, and then I walk the dogs. And it just is like clockwork. And then I always do some kind of work, either on myself in my mental state, whether it's journaling or self-development courses or something I'm working on for the business, always something to fill my cup. So before I even step in the shower, I'm regulated, I'm feeling great, I'm exercised, and I have enough in me to give to everyone else throughout my day.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, there you go. Giving yourself love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It feels good.
I
love it. Me too.
Taking care of yourself first. And that also, well, because your body and your spirit, right? Like mentally and physically, you are used to being given love, being taken care of, being nourished. And so now when, there comes a time when like, oh, there's this requirement that you overwork, and then you can recognize that and you can draw your boundary.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And when we're kind to ourselves, we become a whole lot less tolerant of toxicity and people treating us poorly.
Yeah, exactly. No time for that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
No way.
Yeah. Like, why would you want to go back? Right? Because you've already known how to love yourself, how to be kind to yourself. Like, oh, drama.
Thumbs down.
Why would I have time for that? Exactly.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. So much juicy goodness in just
right. Yeah, and also from that, all of that self-care to first I think we talked about like, okay, being more sensitive to our needs, right? And we can draw a boundary, and we can be more selective with what we can tolerate. And then and then second, it's remember when we're talking about making it non-negotiable.
Yes.
Right. And putting yourself first. So this is something philosophical that I hope more women would start adopting and then absorb it in their system, is that, women, us, we are creators, like goddesses, queens, right? When you see goddesses and queens, like they have obligations, and that which are blessing people with their energy, and that's what we do as mothers, right? We are blessing people with our energy, with our love, with our labor, with our smile. And these goddesses and queens, like, when you say a royal treatment, or like, having the best whatever treatment of self-care, you know what? Of course they deserve it, because they work and they bless people. Like, it is from that love and, royal treatment. They get to be nourished and give all that juicy fruit, right, to everybody else. And we need to prioritize that kind of self-care, allow ourselves to receive that kind of royal treatment, whatever we interpret that as, like, something that makes us happy, and
whatever that is.
Feel like we are being served and supported, right? And so we have this fertile ground where all this beautiful flowers and trees and juicy fruit that that could grow from, and we could have all this overflow to share with everybody else, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I hope that more women would understand that you are goddesses and you deserve regal treatment.
Yes, absolutely. We are not the servants. If we had more women, as Kathy Heller says, writing checks in this world, it would be a really different world. And in order to have women writing checks, we need to stop being martyrs. And we need to stop working to exhaustion and depletion and really embrace taking care of ourselves and embrace taking care of our mental states, our physical states, our spiritual states, because we'll be more able to give back to the world when we're fully nourished.
Exactly. Right. So allow that for ourselves.
Yes.
And and it's not cool to exhaust and overwork yourself. It's not noble. And I think it's more selfish not to take care of yourself and risk yourself, some mental or physical problems, right? Then, okay, too much is at stake there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's too much to lose for anyone to play small and to play second fiddle to everybody else in the world and fall asleep at night exhausted on the couch.
Right, exactly. And so and I do hope that more women will have the understanding. And the reason why it's the morning that I choose is because when you wake up in the morning, so I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, they always mention, this brain waves, right? So when you're sleeping, your brain wave is on delta. And when you just wake up, when you just open your eyes, it's theta. And so when you just wake up, your brain is on the clean slate. It is between the delta and theta, and that is the hypnotic state. So if you think that state, the clean slate, right, in between the hypnotic state is a fertile ground. So if you want to put seeds of positivity, say gratitude, or telling yourself that it's going to be a fun day, then it's going to grow into this positive tree throughout the day, right? Or you could put the seeds of problems from yesterday, right? Well, why would you do that?
Or scrolling social media or
yep, exactly. Nope, don't do that. And so that's the first thing that I do when I wake up first thing in the morning, that gratitude, pick 3 things that I'm grateful for, telling myself that I'm supported, I know that I'm supported, and telling myself that I'm going to do something fun. I'm wake up for something fun. And that this is also what I want to help women to change, with the mindset, is that it is hard to wake up to all these obligations, right? And then maybe a job that they don't like. But if you have this morning routine that you love, you at least wake up to something that you love, that you're excited to wake up for.
I love it.
And that's what I did for myself. Right.
That's amazing. So tell us where we can find you.
On Instagram, it's BVibe, BEEVIBE 88. And I'm also on Facebook. But I think you'll have the link, right? And
yes, I'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. So I thanks. I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Absolutely. I would love to know what's in your morning mug.
My morning mug. Oh, I take herbs. So I make morning. Okay, my morning teas are so I brew red clover, elderberry for immunity, mullein leaves, and colt's foot, and sometimes lemon balm. So mullein leaves and colt's foot are good to clear the lungs. Yeah, they protect the lungs. And then red clover is very good for the female hormones. And lemon balm is just it's cleansing, it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. So it's a great protector. And
elderberry, I like lemon balm. It's so good and refreshing.
Yeah. And also, and then I also do juicing. And in my, it's always celery first, and then lemon, turmeric, and ginger.
Awesome. I've done celery juicing before, and when I've had
I like
different
it.
health conditions, and it is just medicine.
Right, exactly. Medicine.
Yes.
And that's the thing. That's what I also want more people to learn, making food your medicine instead of taking all those over the counter medicine, drugs. No, not medicine. Like food is medicine,
Yes.
right? And so yeah.
Love it. Oh, that was a good answer.
What I
What is
yes,
it?
mhm.
What's a song that you are loving right now? I noticed that you mentioned the best day of your life. Is that the one that you would go for as a song you're loving right now? Or was there another one?
Oh yeah, there's a few. Happy. Who's the singer?
Pharrell Williams?
Yes, that's it. Pharrell Williams.
Yeah.
Yes, Happy. Yeah, very upbeat and so fun to dance to. And you know what? Kathy introduced me to Ben Rector, Brand New.
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh my gosh, I've been dancing to that like 3 or 4 times a week. It's so fun. Yeah, it's just like, letting it like and just like having it play in the background. I can't help but dance. And that is just such perfect mood lifter. Like that's it. I'm just happy. I don't need any other songs.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's really good. It's going to be a classic. I just know it. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Okay. Right now, I'm listening to The Way of Integrity for the second time.
Martha Beck. Oh,
yes.
I loved that book.
I love it. Yeah. It's so, I'm actually listening the last 2 chapters for like the 4th time. It's talking about unbuilding. Right. I mean, I like to listen to something inspiring, but I know that I still have resistance to over and over again, like, to kind of like, so my subconscious, and so that resistance finally cooperate and get used to that idea that I'm resisting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's why I'm listening to it so many times, because there are things that I'm holding on to, like maybe like, some old stories and mindset that keeps me from moving forward. And this idea of unbuilding, it takes a lot of courage to like, it's like the goddess Kali, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. You just have to destroy what to make room for new things, for new beautiful things. And it's scary, but you know what? Yeah, but like when and again, the fun and the happiness, it just makes me, it helps me pick up this mindset that it will be all right. It will be fun. Yes, it's going to be something new and it's going to be fun. Yeah. And
It's
so
powerful. I loved that book so much. I was going to give it away to a friend, but I marked it up and dog-eared it, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, another person that I really like is Russel Brand.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
It's true. It's true.
It's I mean, like, yeah, well, yeah, in addition to the accent, but like, with this high intelligence, right? Like, that took him from where he was, the addiction, and like, whatever chaos that he was in. And here he is in this like, Zen state. It's really, it makes me reflect on my past too. Like, it was, chaotic, a lot of turmoil. But then because of all of that turmoil, the, whatever catastrophe, right? It made me shoot all of these, Esther Hicks said, rockets of desires, right? That, and I know where to go now. And here I am, in this place where I could build my own home, that I'm comfortable with, where I'm accepted for who I am, and I have friends that are family, and I just love my life. So
amazing. I love it.
yeah.
So what is a podcast that you're listening to right now?
I have been actually switching between Kathy Heller and Michael Traynor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's good. And also, what was it again? Oh, Ben Greenfield. Like
Oh,
he's
I'm not
into
familiar
this
with him.
biohacking and just different methods of let's say keeping healthy and creating this longevity, right? So he's probably like in his late 30s and he's like super sexy. So yeah, that's Ben Greenfield. And
Okay.
also Prout, what's her name? Prout, Lisa. She's like this manifesting teacher from Australia. Very cute. Yeah, and I like listening to her too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look those names up because I'm not familiar with. Oh, I know Esther Hicks, of course, but
Oh
not
yeah,
familiar
I
with
listen
your
to her
other.
a lot too.
And Kathy Heller, we met through one of Kathy's programs.
That's right.
Yes, that was
Right, yeah.
amazing.
Oh my
And-
gosh, my favorite podcast was like the latest one, Baldoni, with Justin Baldoni. I don't know if you've heard.
Oh, I haven't listened yet. It's on my.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
I can't wait.
He talks a lot about death, but that is something that a lot of people need to make peace with, really. Yeah.
That's for sure, because it's the one thing that we will all eventually face, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He frames it in such a beautiful way. It's a trip.
I can't wait to listen. So I have a suspicion that I might know your answer to this next question, which is when you need to flip the switch, if you're feeling low or scared or angry or sad, what's one thing you do really quickly to flip the switch to access and feel joy?
Breathwork.
Breathwork. Excellent.
Yeah.
I did not know the answer. I thought maybe you would say dancing.
Dance too. Could be, but sometimes there are, like stressful times or environment that doesn't really allow you to like dance.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Okay. And what I could do is just breathe. And I like practicing a Wim Hof. So he broke the Guinness Book record or whatever that is, like, for climbing Mount Everest in shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then he's a lot about like, ice, like bath. And so actually, I have my icy cold shower in the morning because of him. But that's like another growth thing that I do for myself. But yeah, after breath work or some breath exercise, it is cleansing whatever stuck energy that's causing all that anxiety and overwhelm. And after say 10 breaths, it's really not that bad anymore. Yeah, try it.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of breath work. I teach it to my students all the time. In fact, a lot of times we do it as a regulation just when we get into the room because I'm a specialist. So the kids come to me and then they leave again. So that's just a day of transitions. And that's one thing we rely on is just breathing and being in the moment.
Yeah, that's it. Being present, being in the moment, right? It's like, with the breath, it's like, hey, I'm okay. And things are okay the way they are, really. It's like when people say it is what it is, like it really is. And so just let it be.
Yeah.
And what you could change is really the way you respond to it. It's
yes.
like,
And
right?
there's the gold right there. Yeah. I remember spending money for a summer vacation to Florida when I was a kid. I had $5 to spend, which felt like a ton of money. So living in Nebraska, driving to Florida was kind of a long trip. We drove in my parents' Chevy Monza, which was a super cool car from the 1970s. And to me, it had giant doors, 2 doors. And they were something like 4 feet long and like 700 pounds. Probably not really, but it felt that way. And I remember what it was like as a kid to climb into the back seat. I had to reach with my hand to pull the lever of the driver's side seat and simultaneously push the seat forward as hard as I could. And then, with the same hand that pulled the lever, I'd reach up and pull back on the door handle and then use my elbow as a lever to push the huge door open. I thought I was so cool because I could get in and out of the car without any help. So anyway, we were driving from the town where I grew up, which was Chadron, Nebraska, to Sarasota, Florida, with no air conditioning. I don't even know if cars had air conditioning at that point, but we certainly did not. So we ate refrigerated green grapes and sprayed each other with a plastic spray bottle that most of the year held water for the ironing. But when we traveled in the heat of the summer with that no air conditioning Chevy Monza, the spray bottle turned into our cooling system. So picture me in the Monza with my sister and my parents driving across the United States in the heat with our grapes and the spray bottle and my $5 to spend. I wanted to spend my money on something really special, something I loved that reminded me of the trip. I wanted to capture the feeling of being on this trip. I wanted to spend my money on something really special, something that I loved that reminded me of the trip. And every time we stopped, I took every opportunity to get out of the car and go search for the perfect thing. I stopped in gas stations and ice cream parlors and restaurants and gift shops and stores. Oh my goodness. And then I found it. It was a stuffed animal, pink octopus. It was perfect. It was about the size of my hand when its legs were all spread and the body stood about 3 inches tall. Now, listen, the octopus wasn't the thing. The thing was that the octopus represented the ocean, the things I'd never seen before, the things I'd never felt. The sea, the trip, the time in Florida with my family. And it helped me remember the shrimp dinner that my Aunt Mary made. I had no idea you could cook shrimp in your own kitchen until we went to Aunt Mary's in Florida. I also remembered when I held that octopus, how it felt to be on my Uncle John's sailboat, sailing in Tampa Bay. And I remember my funny cousin, Daniel, he had the best jokes that kept us in stitches the whole time. I remember my cousin Paul, my cousin David, my cousin Paul's beautiful wife, Beth. And I remember how it felt to be around that table all together. So my pink octopus represented all of that because growing up in Nebraska, we didn't see a lot of octopuses. Is it octopuses or octopi? I'm not sure, but it was so special to me because it captured the feelings, the memories, and the experiences. And here's the thing. That's why you want the things you want too. You want to feel happy, love, belonging, connection, expansion. It's not about the trips you want. It's about the sense of adventure and expansion you want to feel. It's not about the job. It's about the abundance and the purpose that you want to feel. It's not about the date you want to go on or the relationship you dream about or even fixing the relationship that you have. It's about wanting to feel seen and heard, to feel sexy, creative, and excited. It's not about a vacation. It's about getting to relax, getting to do what you want when you want. And it's not about where you want to live. It's about how connected you feel and the sense of belonging you experience. It's never about the stuff. It's always about how you want to feel. And I'm going to teach you how to create a vision board that's so magnetic that it can't help but bring your vision into your reality. So what's a vision board? Well, it can be a lot of things. It can be poster board with images or stickers or writing. And I certainly have done those. I have two right now that I'm looking at as I record this. One of them has Chip and Joanna Gaines on it, not because I necessarily want to meet Chip and Joanna, although that would be lovely, but I want on my vision board to represent the way that I feel when I watch them in a partnership, in a loving relationship. So that's one of the things on my vision board. The vision board represents what you want to pull into your life. We know that energy flows where attention goes. So the more you're focusing your attention on what you really want, instead of rehearsing for things that you don't want, we know that you can change everything. You know that athletes practice vision. They imagine themselves winning the race. We know that ice skaters spend time in meditation and practicing in their mind how they're going to do the moves. You can do the same thing with a vision board. The reason vision boards work is because you're practicing what you want to experience. Now, if you're like most people, I bet you spend quite a bit of time doom forecasting and rehearsing things that you don't want, trying to figure out what you do if things go wrong. I'm going to show you how to shift that. I'll help you understand why having what you want isn't selfish. I'll help you know how to have more capacity for true generosity when you're willing to receive the things that you want. I'll help you be more willing to receive so that you have a greater capacity to give. You'll feel less stress, more creative, more inspired, calmer, hopeful, and you'll give yourself permission to dream without the guilt. There's never been a time when it's more important for women to dream. Women by nature are nourishers, and women have been the ones to keep our families fed, protected, and gathered together. We need your unleashed feminine energy in the world right now more than ever. And the best way you can help impact the world is when you unapologetically step into the things that make you feel good. When you feel good, you become a magnet for other things that feel good. Feeling good generates creativity, love, and allows you to more fully share your gifts. We need your gifts to be in the world. Join me for a morning of dreaming and vision boarding on Monday, July 11th. If you can't make it, no worries. You can catch the replay. You'll have lifetime access to it. You're going to have so much fun. You will leave this virtual workshop held on Zoom with a vision board. I'm going to show you 3 ways to create a very simple digital vision board, in addition to talking you through how you could create one on paper, if that's your thing. It's going to be $39. And then the price goes up on Tuesday, July 5th to $99. I hope you join me. I'd love to see your face there. I'd love to spend some time with you and creating a shared vision for the world where women really do have equal rights. And the way that that's going to happen is if we stand up and claim them. And it starts by claiming the life you want to live. You can click the link in the show notes or visit my website at brendawinkle.com/vision-boarding-101. That's brendawinkle.com/vision, VISION-boarding, BOARDING-101.